Hello and welcome to Mokoshart. I'm so excited to show you today how to sew this comfortable and stylish shopping bag in an easy and non-time consuming way. PDF: the bag pattern layout is made in 3 sizes: small, medium and large. PDF sewing pattern linked in description. We'll be using my shopper bag sewing instruction, so to follow along, get yours at the link below in the description. Check your printer settings. Make sure your printer settings are set to 100%. Click on the layers icon from the list of layers. Click on the icon of the desired size and also on the base icon. I use a medium weight cotton fabric. It holds its shape well and is durable, which is very important. Put the sheets together like a puzzle. I chose the medium size. Cut 2 pieces from the main fabric, following the direction of the grain line. We cut out the second piece. We transfer all the marks onto the fabric. If you don't have your tag, that's not a problem. It can be cut out of old jeans. We'll sew it to the center of the bag. We mark half of the allowance. This is 7 millimeters. Turn the seam allowance under and press it. Turn the seam allowance the same way, but in the other direction. Smooth one side of the seam allowance onto the front side and the other side onto the back side. Lace the seam allowances on top of each other. Pin the seams together. You stitch on the seam line, which will be right in the middle of the overlap. Now you are going to turn the seam. Turn one side over the seam and the other side under the seam. The raw edges of the seam should be tucked between the fabrics. Sew the seam on this side too. You will see 4 layers of fabric in this part of the seam stitching. Press your seam. Repeat, turned lapped seam stitch on the other side of our bag. Repeat the turned lapped seam stitch on the bottom of the bag. Next, we sew everything on the machine just like the previous seams. Press your seam. Fold the sides of the bag and sew them together. Do this on both sides. You will need to cut the bias tape to cover this edge. 2 pieces, 18 x 4 centimeters. Attach the bias tape to the edge and stitch along the already finished machine stitching. Fold the bias tape over to the wrong side and staple along the sidelines with pins. Sew the base tape to the side seams. Cut off any excess allowances. Turn out the bias tape. The folded edge must cover the first stitches. Make a top stitch along the folded edge. The last stitch will look nice on both sides. Make your own bias band. Draw lines at a 45-degree angle. The strips are 2.5 centimeters wide. Attach the bias band to the front of the bag, aligning it with the markings. Stitch the seam 1 centimeter away from the edge. Create notches along the entire seam length, approximately 2.5 centimeters apart from each other. Fold the bias tape and secure it to the bag by tucking the seam allowance inside and pinning it, or do a hand stitch in place. The folded edge must cover the first stitch, then the last stitch will look nice on both sides. Sew a machine stitch and then press the seam. Repeat this process for all handles. Press your seam. Pin the handles together, front sides facing in. The handles from one part of the base are fastened together and not opposite. Do the same with the other handle. Machine stitch the handle, parts together, press the seam allowance in different directions. Set aside seam allowances 1 centimeter from the edge and press it. Do this from all 4 sides. Pin the 2 sides of the handle together. Sew a machine stitch along the edge of the handle, starting from the bias tape and maintaining a distance of 1 or 2 millimeters. Repeat this process for the other side of the handle. If you liked my video, please like and subscribe to my channel.